Hi, fourth grade, and welcome back to Math with Mr. G. Today we're going to be working with Zearn Lesson 5 and continuing our work with conversions of units into larger and larger numbers and mixing our different operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Before we get started with the Zearn lesson today, I would like you guys to take just a second, make sure you have something to write with, a paper, a pencil, a whiteboard marker, whatever it is, so that we can go over one of the more difficult questions from our exit ticket last time. So you can see here, we have our exit ticket from last time. Inside of it, we have the word problem, we have my conversion, as well as my cubes method to help us be guided in our solving of this. Now up here, I've added a sticky note. This is just to help focus what our objective is for each lesson, and this is based on our standards that we use for planning as well as instruction. So for us moving forward, at least for this lesson and the next few lessons, we'll really be focusing on how we solve problems involving measurement and conversion of measurements. So remember that all of these measurements, like pounds or ounces, they all are ways that we measure the size, the length, a number of ways that we measure things in real life. So without further ado, let's go over this question here. So the question reads, Brian has a melon that weighs 3 pounds. He cut it into 6 equal pieces. How many ounces did each piece weigh? Well, before I even get started with using my cube method or breaking this down, I'm going to put my conversion here on the side, which I have right here. So I'm converting pounds to ounces. So I have to multiply by 16. And again, I found this in that conversion table I've given you in Google Classroom, and that really is your best friend for converting units. It really, really is. So please always look at that before you do anything. It takes a long time to memorize these, and honestly, I look back every time I do one of these before we teach a lesson. Okay, so now that I have read this and I have my conversion on the side, I can start with my cubes method. So I'm going to start right off the bat with circling important numbers. So Brian has a melon that weighs 3 pounds. Well, yep, I'm definitely going to want to remember how much I have total in pounds. He cuts it into 6 equal pieces. Yeah, I'm going to keep 6 as an important number. How many ounces does each piece weigh? Okay, I can pause there for my circle important numbers and then move on to underlining the question I need to answer. So I just look for my question mark inside of the question, and here it is. And it asks, how many ounces did each piece weigh? So I'm going to underline that. That's what I'm trying to answer here. Next, I need to box key math words. So let's read this. Brian has a melon that weighs 3 pounds. Okay, that's one of my measurements. I'm going to box that. He cut it into 6 equal pieces. Okay, equal pieces. Equal pieces is an important part because when I see things like equal pieces, that tells me that they're trying to give us a good idea that we're going to be working with, well, equal pieces. And when we deal with equal pieces, we multiply or divide almost every time. So I know already that I'm going to be looking at probably some multiplication here, or division, or both. How many ounces does each piece weigh? So I'm looking for ounces as my final answer. So my answer needs to be in ounces. Well, good thing I have here my conversion table on how to get us into ounces. Next, I need to evaluate and eliminate unnecessary information. So let's look at what's unnecessary. I'm going to keep my black marker for this. Brian has a melon. Okay, I don't care that Brian has a melon at this point. I do care about its weight, though. So I've crossed that off. I don't need to worry about that. So at this point, I need to now solve and show my work. And that's exactly what we're going to do. The best way to do this is to break down exactly what's being asked here. So it weighs 3 pounds. He cut it into 6 equal pieces. Okay, how many ounces does each piece weigh? The best way to do this, in my opinion, is to take the 3 pounds we already have, the total, and just convert that into ounces right off the bat. And the easiest way to do that is to take pounds to ounces, multiply by 16. So I'm going to take 16, I'm going to multiply it times 3. Now they're going to try and trick you, or they did try and trick you here, that they want you to multiply 3 times 6. And that's going to give you, that's not going to be what you're looking for, because you can't multiply pounds by equal pieces. You can only work with the different measurements of weight. It's not going to change the size that it's cut into 6 equal pieces. It changes the number of pieces it's in, just like fractions, but it's not going to change the total weight. So it wouldn't be 18, 3 times 6. It's not all of a sudden going to be 18 ounces. So again, back to our conversion, 16 times 3, 3 times 6 is 18. Carry my 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Okay, so as of right now, I have 48 ounces. I have 48 ounces, so 3 pounds I've now turned into 48 ounces. He cut it into 6 equal pieces. Okay, this is where I have to decide if I'm multiplying or dividing here. I want to know how much each piece weighed. Each piece. I don't want to know anything else other than that. So what I actually want to do is I want to divide, because I want to find out how much one piece weighed, each piece. And to do that, I have to divide that to take the total and find out how much one weighs. So I'm going to take my 48. Sorry about that. I'm going to take my 48. I'm going to divide it by my 6 equal pieces. Okay. Well, 6 can't go into 4 evenly or at all, so I'm going to look at my larger 48 here. 6 goes into 48 8 times, exactly, 8 times 6 is 48. Subtract 8 minus 8 is 0. 4 minus 4 is 0. Nothing to bring down, and no remainder to bring up. So 8 is my final answer here. But I'm not done. I'm not done because I need to rewrite this. My final answer here is 8, and don't forget your measurement here, ounces. Well, what's 8 ounces, Mr. G? Each piece. Is 8 ounces. I'm going to circle that right here. Each piece is equal to 8 ounces. I will, of course, screenshot this and put this up onto our Google Classroom for future reference, so that if you're confused about this or you just need a quick look at how I solved this, it's always going to be there and available for you guys as you work on your future Zearn lessons or any other future exit tickets. Now today in Zearn Lesson 5, I just wanted to highlight a few things that are really necessary for you guys to be successful. The important things here are to first look at your conversion table and use that to help you solve any of the problems you have on Zearn, and especially your exit ticket that's going to be attached today. As these numbers get larger and larger and what we're doing with them gets more complex, it's important that we're converting correctly. The second part I want to discuss is that make sure you're completing the Zearn lesson before you complete your exit ticket. Remember that what you learn in your Zearn lesson is how you can arrive to be successful at your exit ticket. Those exit tickets are designed to be taken at the end of the Zearn lesson. So if I'm only on Zearn lesson 2, I'm not going to take the Zearn lesson exit ticket in my Google Classroom for, let's say, lesson 4, because I haven't done lessons 3 and 4 yet to then be successful on exit ticket 4. So if you're finding yourself struggling with these exit tickets, the best things you can do are, first, use the conversion table in Google Classroom. And then second, you're really going to want to make sure you're completing those Zearn lessons and going back and making sure you're completing them correctly. Otherwise, you will find yourself having a very difficult time with these exit tickets. As always, feel free to rewatch this. Feel free to reach out and do your absolute best. See you guys tomorrow.